12-year career, he's been suspended by the league. He will not be allowed to play again until he proves to NBA officials that he can play the game without committing unsportsmanlike behavior. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
First things first.
Things first, it's the DU General, Money B. I'ma put you up on the schedule. 6 to 9, 8 weekdays, not 2 and 7. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about, so much to pedal through. Unapologetically progressive. Tune to KBLA 1580 to get the mess. We're your ancestors' favorite radio station. First black on talk radio, left side of the nation. Me and Dominique DiPrima go way back. Smiley making sure the station stays black. Discussing all the issues in our community. We're hosted black and brown and others find unity. So let's talk about it. Maybe we can improve it. Digital underground, always down with the move. So we tune in. The first things first with the queen of Black Talk Radio, Dominique DiPrima. Go sis. Go sis.
First things first.
Good morning and God bless. I'm Dominique DiPrima. The show is called First Things First. My first thing today and every day, giving thanksgiving praises, asking for blessings from the Most High, asking for the blessings of the ancestors and the elders, and let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We got a lot to talk about. So this is the structure of this show, which you probably already know. But hour one, we stick to the left coast. Pacific side, west side. Hour two, we go national, international, and beyond. And in the third hour, we do a deep dive with a person or persons of interest. Today is a little bit mostly on that track. And of course, as you know, you are welcome in any time. Hour one, it's me, you, and this microphone, telephone, speakerphone, whatever you got going on, 800-920-1580, the perfect time to call me as we look at the situation here. Hour two, we will be joined by Senator Lola Smallwood Cuevas, representing us in Sacramento, and a truly progressive lawmaker with a lot of updates for us. So looking forward to that conversation. Hour three, we'll meet Gerald Sanders, a woman who is in need of her own reparation, and because of that has found what she believes is a key to getting reparations for Black folks. What a great warm-up to tomorrow's Freedman Friday, where we will have attorney Camila Moore joining us for that segment. That's the second hour of the show. Every Friday now is Freedman Fridays. It is a comprehensive conversation about reparations. What does that mean? All comers, all factions, all points of view are welcome. We got to get this thing across the finish line, or multiple finish lines, more than likely. And we have momentum, so we need to keep that momentum going. That's my thought. We'll also be having a reparations conversation on the local level with LA Civil Rights Executive Director Capri Maddox, who will be joining us prior to Attorney Moore in hour one, because there are some looming deadlines, and I'll share that with you today as well, regarding reparations here locally in Los Angeles. We have a commission that is looking at reparations, and one of the things they need is they need feedback. For all the talk and all the hype and all the passion around this subject, sometimes when we are called upon to get online or show up, usually they're online, go to a meeting, fill out a form, we are not always jumping for joy to do that. And I get that. It seems like more paperwork, perhaps a waste of your time, but we have a deadline here to share our experiences with the Los Angeles Commission that's dealing with reparations, and it is the 31st of December. So we need to get on that and get the data in there. Just share your experiences. It's not, it's not going to be used for anything other than the making the case, building the case for city reparations here in Los Angeles. And I am one who would love to see reparations everywhere it can be applied, meaning locally, countywide, statewide, nationally, within the private sector, within the public institutions and private institutions like educational, and within the corporate sector, i.e., all of those insurance companies and other types of businesses that made a whole bunch of money off selling our ancestors, buy, sell, trade, insuring our ancestors. But some disagree. And again, I do not pretend to be the premier world expert on reparations. What I do have is a mic and a platform. And what I do know is I've been talking about this since me and Mr. Dick Gregory were chatting about it in the 1990s. So I open up this platform for all comers. And, some have their whatever. They don't want, if you don't want to come, that's on you. But if you do, I don't have to agree with you. What I want to do is let you be heard. What I want to do is make this a conversation that can educate ourselves and each other. Well, where are you really coming from, and what work is being done, and how can I be part of that, or how can I help? I think, all of these conversations, we make assumptions sometimes about what other communities believe, or we base our analysis only on what's going on social media, and there's just a lot more to it. So I'm excited about Freedman Fridays because it seems to be gaining a lot of momentum. People are contacting us from all over the state and all over the country, looking to be part of that conversation. I love that. I mean, that means that there is an appetite for this discourse, for the intellectual exploration and understanding. And I always say this, but it's so true what Mr. Dick Gregory said to me, I don't know, maybe 15 years ago, something like that. He said that it's going to take 50 years for us to get reparations. That's what he thought. But the other piece, and maybe we'll do it sooner, it looks like we might. But the other piece that he used to say is that normalization is what's necessary. People have to think of this as something that is acceptable to them mentally, intellectually, socially, and get it off the fringe. And I think lots of different parties have helped make that happen. And now it is not a fringe conversation anymore. How do we bring it across the finish line or finish lines? We have to keep talking about it. We have to educate not just ourselves and white folks, but other black people, because once we know and we're solid on what the arguments are and what the proposals are, then we can more effectively not just abolish the talking points or counteract the sort of what have become almost like, tropes about reparations but also to feel solid and to feel strong about why we believe the way we believe, and why reparations is not a luxury and not a handout, is not welfare, it's not affirmative action, it is a debt that is due to Black Americans and, other people in the diaspora too. But as we've said repeatedly, these folks can and do have campaigns of their own seeking to get reparations, repair for whatever harms they have experienced. So apparently on yesterday, the NFL owners voted to bring the Super Bowl to Inglewood in 2027. It was a unanimous vote. They have their super billionaire meetings in Dallas, and apparently it's coming to Inglewood, the SoFi Stadium, for the win. We saw that coming. This is a great market to have something like the Super Bowl. And, I have this love-hate. I won't even call it hate. I have a love-critique relationship with football. I love watching the game. I love the game itself, the athletic prowess, the impact, the fun. I mean, it's fun to go to football games. My critique part comes with the harm that happens to players, as far as the concussions and such, and how the reparation, if you will, whatever, restitution is probably a more appropriate word, for that harm has been doled out. My critique comes with the underpayment, marginalization of women within the organizations, including the gross and negligent and horrific underpaying of those cheerleaders and the treatment of women inside NFL organizations. And it also, the critique comes with the piece about the way they deal with DV, domestic violence. You teach young, strong, impressionable people that they are rewarded for hitting hard and being ruthless. Then you've got to work with them on how to deal with real life, field, not field. And the great psychologist, Dr. Tracy Shaw, told me that she presented something to the NFL. She is a sports psychologist and a family therapist who was over all of those programs at UCLA and later LMU, that she presented the NFL with a comprehensive package about how to address players in terms of preparing them. And apparently it's not just players, it's throughout the league in administrative, coaching, and other positions about how to deal with domestic violence, and they didn't even grace her with a response. So that's the part I hate. The part I love is the game itself, and the fun and the way that, it brings people together. Of course, my 49ers, I grew up on football. So it's a big deal. I hope that it does bring a lot of opportunity to the area. Sometimes folks fly in, fly out, and, don't stop at the restaurants or don't utilize the businesses there in Inglewood. But hopefully that will not be the case here. It'll be televised on ESPN and ABC. It's going to be ESPN's first Super Bowl since 2006. So I think, big deal. 2024, Las Vegas. 2025, New Orleans. 2026, Santa Clara. 2027, SoFi Stadium. Good. Come where it's warm. Forget all this NFL in the snow. This is this is an area where the left coast should have an advantage. I know New Orleans is not on the west coast, but Santa Clara, Los Angeles, aka Inglewood, and Las Vegas certainly are. And New Orleans, it's New Orleans. So I think it's good news. Love to hear your thoughts if you feel like that's a bad idea. But apparently they were thinking of bringing the Super Bowl here earlier. However, we kind of busy. So we got the World Cup and all kinds of stuff going on. So, big news for football fans and actually football frenemies alike. Protest yesterday on the 110 freeway. Take a look at that when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominique DiPrima when we come forward. Environmental justice, pollution, and climate. In Los Angeles and across America, people of color are suffering and dying from disproportionate health impacts on a planet that has less than 10 years to prevent irreversible damage. Heat illnesses, respiratory illnesses, water-related illnesses, food system impacts, insect-related diseases, Black maternal health, and mental health effects. As the impacts of climate change mount, millions of vulnerable people, our people, are going to bear the brunt of these extreme environmental events, which will likely lead to forced displacement, loss of cultural identity, and other related risks. These realities are as real as rain. Stay tuned to KBLA Talk 1580 for more details about the most progressive multimedia and live events campaign any Black media outlet has ever undertaken to combat the climate catastrophe. Experts, events, empowerment. It's all on the way from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580. We don't black down. We level up.
Level up, 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 level up.
Hey, are you planning to get an updated COVID-19 vaccine?
Yep, I don't want to get seriously sick and miss out on spending time with friends and family during the holidays.
Does it cost a lot? I don't have insurance.
If you don't have health insurance, or if your insurance doesn't cover an updated COVID-19 vaccine, you can get one for free with the Bridge Access program. Just look for places that participate in Bridge Access on vaccines.gov.
Sounds good. Bridge access on vaccines.gov.
A message from CDC.
Feel the warmth of the holiday spirit with Assemblymember Isaac Bryan, Special Needs Network Incorporated, and the Social Justice Learning Institute. We're thrilled to invite you to Christmas in the Park, a joyful, free event packed with love, community, and festive cheer. Join us this Sunday, December 17th from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Lamert Plaza Park. It's a day filled with fun, laughter, and togetherness. Snap a memorable photo with Santa, savor tasty treats, and watch your children's eyes sparkle at our magical toy giveaway. Plus, we're bringing more to the table with food distribution, lively DJ and dancing, creative arts and crafts, and engaging community activities. Don't miss out. For more details, visit xmaspark.eventbrite.com. That's xmaspark.eventbrite.com. Join us at Christmas in the Park and create unforgettable memories with your community this Sunday, December 17th. Let's celebrate the season together.
Your ancestors' favorite radio station, and your favorite morning show host. Let's get back to Dominique DiPrima right now.
Right now. So the freeway got shut down on yesterday. Pretty sure you saw that, the 110. There were protesters with their arms linked. They had a giant menorah out on the freeway. And this was a Jewish American group protesting, calling on the U.S. government to stop supporting the Israeli military and stop calling for a ceasefire. I mean, that's really what they wanted, a ceasefire in the Gaza. This was on the 110 in downtown. Traffic was backed way up. It was bad. Apparently, some of the protesters were fighting with folks in cars, and some motorcycles were going around the line and flying through. And this, we've seen a lot of, or at least I've been reading about a lot of these kinds of protests by Jewish Americans who are saying, we don't want this done in our name. We don't stand with Israel in this conflict. But I've seen more of that happening on the East Coast in New York, shutting down bridges and all kinds of, big protests by Jewish American groups. I haven't seen it as much here in Los Angeles. This particular group says that they have been working to raise awareness, but they're not seeing the movement that they want. It's called If Not Now. That's the name of the group. This is their LA branch, If Not Now. And they say, this is what they said on Wednesday in the statement that they put out when, as part of the protest, we demand an end to the financial support of Israel's occupation and documented war crimes, including the indiscriminate mass murder of over 18,000 Palestinians and the forced displacement of 1.9 million civilians. And this group is predominantly made up of American Jews and some allies that join. They want the U.S. military to stop supporting Israel. They want, with military aid, any kind of military aid, of which, the United States invests a substantial amount every year, even when it's not wartime, in Israeli military forces. They want that to stop. Interesting that the Anti-Defamation League says that this Jewish American group engages in what they call divisive rhetoric, some of which may be offensive to members of the mainstream Jewish community. I think I'd have to do a deeper analysis. But it's interesting that now you're not talking about hate. You're talking about, from what I'm reading, you're talking about being the arbiters of what political positions are acceptable. And I think that's a very different assignment, right? Because most progressive or militant or radical groups in any community, Black, Latine, Asian, are going to say things that might offend people who are more moderate or who are conservative. That's kind of how politics works, especially when you're talking about young activists It's normal. That's probably gone back since there were human beings. Certainly that has been an issue in every generation, right? Think about Malcolm X. There were plenty of conservatives, plenty of, not even conservatives, respectability politics folks who would be considered liberals even, who found Malcolm X's rhetoric offensive. In fact, that is still true today. And a lot of it is based on their misinterpretations or their lack of contextualization of the comments. But some of it is just based on their politics. Just because you don't agree with El-Hajj Malik Shabazz's politics doesn't make it hateful. It just makes it something that you find offensive. And so I wonder about a group that's meant to track hate and discrimination, anti-Semitism in this case, but, any other group, whether it be the NAACP, the ADL, Southern Poverty League, where's the line? Are you, and the reason I bring it up is because I feel like one of the things that's polarizing us right now and making it where people are not everybody, but a lot of people aren't even able to have a productive dialogue is because people are going with these kind of talking point, trope, stereotype things where if you don't support my point of view, then that's hate. Because I don't support your political line, that's not the same as hate. Because I think Netanyahu is a menace to the world, that doesn't mean I am anti-Semitic. I'm anti-Netanyahu. I'm anti-far right-wing extremists in any country, any party, any ethnicity, any religion, any nationality. And I think this is, where our clarity about what we're saying and what we're hearing is so important. It's the only way forward is for folks to listen, learn how to listen to each other. And, every time the freeway shutdowns happen, it's inconvenient. People are late to work, kids are late to school. But war is also inconvenient. I remember, I'm sure you do too, when, the freeway shutdowns were happening in 2020 around George Floyd protests and the movement for Black Lives Matter. People didn't like it because people want to go where they're going. And I get that. Why is the slaughter of Black Americans or, the lives of hostages and Palestinian civilians less tolerable than just another accident, another day? Because on any given day, you might run into some terrible, terrible traffic in Los Angeles. I remember one day I sat on the 405 with my child for 4 hours. 4 hours. I was like ready to jump out of the car, go to the bathroom, but I didn't want to die. So, due to an accident. I mean, that's the 405. I admit it's the busiest, most terrible freeway in the world. And that's saying something. In fact, I'm not sure I even believe that because I've been to Lagos. Lagos in Nigeria, people are driving both ways in lanes that you think are going one way. But apparently we beat all of that with the 405. So let's all take a deep breath and pack our patience. Whether it's the rain that we anticipate or the protests, it might take you longer than you think to get from point A to point B. Call me now if you want to. News, traffic, and sports. Then more on KBLA Talk 1580.
Here's to a holiday season full of peace, joy, and happiness. Happy Kwanzaa from all of us at KBLA Talk 1580.
Good morning. It's Thursday, the 14th day of December. I'm Ray Harris, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. On average, people commuting daily to work have smaller incomes than remote workers, according to a new study published in the Los Angeles Times. Lower income commuters tend to live an hour or more away from their jobs. Census data showed 750,000 people have commutes that cross a county line, especially coming into Los Angeles, California. The study concluded that people who work from home are disproportionately higher income employees. The median income for remote workers is $80,000, while the typical commuter earns a little less than $50,000. And that's the latest. I'm Ray Harris on your home for 24/7 News, the Black Information Network, and BINnews.com.
Boost Infinite's new wireless technology gives you 3 networks for the price of 1 and better service at a lower price. Switch today. Visit boostinfinite.com. That's boostinfinite.com.
Is this the tether? This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
The Lakers were outscored by 15 points in the fourth quarter last night in San Antonio, but they held on to win by 3. LeBron sat out the game with a strained calf muscle. Anthony Davis stepped up with 37 points and 10 rebounds. The Clippers are back in action tonight against Golden State at Crypto.com. They won't have to worry about Draymond Green. It looks like a lot of NBA teams won't be seeing the Golden State veteran for a long time. The NBA gave Green an indefinite suspension for hitting Phoenix center Yusuf Nurkic in the face Tuesday night. The league is going to take as much time as they want to see if Green figures it out and faces reality. This is the 6th time in Green's 12-year career he's been suspended by the league. He will not be allowed to play again until he proves to NBA officials that he can play the game without committing unsportsmanlike behavior. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
It's the gift-giving season, and we have a gift for you. Visit us online at KBLA.store for holiday savings of 20% off all of our KBLA swag. For the best in merch, gift ideas, books, media, and more, log on to KBLA.store right now. And be sure to check out our KBLA team favorites at KBLA.store today. That's KBLA.store for all our official merch on your favorite talk radio station, KBLA Talk 1580, at 20% off, but only during the holiday season. Happy holidays.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas!
When you're young, life is full of choices. Don't let opioids like highly addictive and deadly fentanyl take away your life with just one wrong pill. Addiction is a disease that can affect anyone at any age. But there is a choice to get help for this disease. Find medically proven treatment options, including virtual, at choosemat.org.
This open enrollment season, LA Care Covered is offering health plans starting at $0 a month. Each plan provides benefits including $0 preventive services, 24/7 telehealth services, around-the-clock nurse advice lines, walk-in minute clinics, and more. Shop and compare premium silver plans with $0 deductibles to help meet your health goals. Ready to shop? Visit us online at lacarecovered.org for a commitment-free instant quote, or speak with us directly at 855-222-4239. LA Care Covered, your affordable path to wellness.
On your period, sudden gushes happen without warning. But now you can say goodbye to stand-up gush fears thanks to Always Ultra Thins with rapid dry technology. It absorbs gushes 2 times faster than the leading store brand and gives you up to 100% leak-free protection. Hello, clean and comfortable with Always Fear No Gush.
Boom, 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 boom. Nissan has a car for every driver who wants more. More action. More fun. More guts. More head turns. More adventure. More electric. At Nissan, more is all we do.
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DiPrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Appreciate you. Love to hear from you. 800-920-1580. If you haven't done so yet, please subscribe to us. We're on the YouTubes every day. It's KBLA 1580. I'm there too, Dominique B. DiPrima. The B is for Baraka, or you could go with DiPrima Radio. Either way, we'll get you to my YouTube page, my Twitter, my Instagram, and of course, we're everywhere on KBLA 1580 as well. I love the conversations that go on the air and on the socials. So please join us. And if you don't have our app yet, it's free. The podcasts are free. It's so convenient, and it helps us to be there for you. A really interesting article, I think, yesterday's LA Times about how we kind of have our own little Florida city, our own little Florida city right here in Southern California in Huntington Beach. And I guess that it's not, new news. I mean, that city actually was famous or is famous for being a hotbed of white supremacy, which is not really kind of the brand that most folks want for their city. But that's what Huntington Beach has been known as. And not to bash Huntington Beach, but it to me, it started making me think, and apparently they have this new, very conservative city council majority and mayor, and they're making a lot of moves that not everyone is comfortable with and not everyone voted for. This article by Hannah Fry in yesterday's LA Times really lays out what they're doing. Mayor Gracie Vandermark and Councilmember Tony Strickland. Apparently, it's a 4-member slate that was elected to that council. And one of the things that they did, they're doing sort of the Ron DeSantis anti-woke agenda. They banned the flying of the pride flag at City Hall. They, have made themselves a mask-free city, whatever that means. No mask, no vaccine mandate city. They sued the state over. The state has this system where every city has to give a plan for what they have in mind regarding housing. And what happens is that cities that are wealthy or cities that don't want any low-income people or more black people or more Latino people, whatever, they want to keep their city the way it is. Let's put it that way. The conservatives. Often they won't even submit the plans that they're meant to submit for housing, because if that way they don't have to expand. They don't have to do anything. So they just defy the law, defy the policy. But now, we're looking at crackdowns where we could see cities having plans imposed upon them if they don't comply. Santa Monica is one of those cities that hasn't complied. Apparently Huntington Beach as well. They say that they not only are they ignoring the housing plan, they're suing the state because they say they don't want to create more housing. They're saying it will change their beach city lifestyle. There's a new euphemism, beach city lifestyle. Because when I think of beach city, I think of, Senegal. I think they're thinking more Baywatch, In any case, it points to something that is unique. Well, maybe it's not unique to California, but it's more extreme in California, which is that we have an image. California is a blue state. We're supposedly very liberal, even progressive. We have a progressive governor, even though he may be inching to the center as he tees up a presidential run. But, he's not a conservative by any stretch of the imagination. We have a super duper majority in the state house, right? Senate and Assembly. However, the center of the state tends to be very conservative. The Kern County areas and whatnot. So it is literally a tale of two states. And I've talked about this before. Even though we're considered a blue state, California is really like two states in one. It's bigger than many nations. We know that. I think we're the third largest or fourth largest economy in the world. If we were a country, if California alone was a country, it would rank above most nations. But it's a country divided. The center of the state tends to be red, and the coastal areas and the urban areas, who lives in urban areas, tend to be blue. And that, of course, Huntington Beach is a coastal area, but it is the exception to that rule. In Orange County, as you know, coastal or not, tends to be more conservative, although it's moving toward the purple. Even Huntington Beach is moving toward the purple. But how do we address that? If you look at progressive legislation that has passed, like 167 or whatever, which helps people to not have double jeopardy and move on with their lives after they've served their time for certain felonies by getting them expunged for their records. Those pass in LA. They pass in San Francisco, right? They even pass like in Sacramento. Where they don't pass is Bakersfield, Fresno, right? The center of the state, and probably Orange County. There's just more people in the cities by volume. There's more of us in the cities, so we carry some of those measures, not all of them. Remember, we couldn't reinstate affirmative action in our beautiful California when we tried it in 2022. It went down to defeat. So, it doesn't always work. But is California, is it a mini little statewide civil war happening every single day, on a tiny level? Or is it a model of how we can live together, how America has to learn to live together? And will the extremism of this Huntington Beach news slate, will they move that city back towards the center? I'm not going to delude myself and say they're going to be liberal, even though they had a slate that was considered liberal. Well, ones that put the pride flag up in the first place, then they vote in a new group that takes it down. I think the thing I liked about this LA Times article is because they interviewed people from the city who are now questioning their vote. They said, well, we wanted, fiscal conservatism. We wanted someone to fight against more development, the NIMBYism. Not in our backyard. We don't want low-income housing here. That's what we wanted. What we didn't want was banning the pride flag. What we didn't want was this, the DeSantis anti-woke agenda, fighting over masks. What we didn't want was, all of these things which can be seen as a distraction, right? And bring us back to an image they were trying to shed, which was the white supremacy capital of the West Coast. So I think there's something good about that when people start to wake up and say, you know what, now they have passed restrictions on what library books can be in Huntington Beach libraries. So, then it has some folks say, and they got rid of their Human Relations Commission, which was actually in response to the white supremacist reputation, but also a couple of hate crimes, one against an African American and one against an LGBTQ person. So I love that there are some people who are conservative or right-leaning or Republican, whatever they are, that are saying, look, I didn't want a bunch of poor people moving in here. Maybe I wanted to cut down the size of city government. I didn't want to get on the Ron DeSantis train and start the war on wokeness. That war on wokeness wastes resources, time, and energy from elected officials who really should be focused on improving the quality of life of their constituents. How about fixing the roads, potholes, streetlights? How about, bringing business to the city so that those small businesses that are located there can thrive? How about focusing on the unhoused people that you do have? Stuff like that. That's, to me, those are the bread and butter issues. But somehow, as much as we think of this being a Florida phenomena, it's a California phenomena. We have our own little Florida, and it's not just Huntington Beach. It's here, there, and everywhere. How do we live together? Well, we're doing it, I guess. And how do we wake up those who have, drank the Kool-Aid of the war on wokeness? You want me to go back to sleep? You want me to get unconscious after I've become conscious? You want to put the genie back in the bottle? Well, I don't think it's going to happen. You can vote in your slate. You can vote out your pride flag. But your younger generations, your Gen Z and Alpha, yeah, I know. Dylan Roof is Gen Z, I think. They're there. But in the main, I don't think we're going back. You can forget that. Love to hear your thoughts on this or any of the other conversations we have going on. 800-920-1580. 800-920-1580. I'm Dominique DiPrima for KBLA Talk 1580.
Say the quiet part out loud. KBLA Talk 1580.
Do you have both Medi-Cal and Medicare?
If so, the new LA Care plan called Medicare Plus can help you get the most out of your health plan for $0.
LA Care provides personalized service to Angelinos like us.
Plus, it gives us access to doctors and specialists across Los Angeles County.
For zero cost, we get access to full benefits.
From vision coverage,
in-home support services,
to prescription drug coverage,
and a quarterly over-the-counter allowance.
Plus personal equipment,
meal programs,
a gym membership,
and so much more.
For more than 25 years,
LA Care has provided Angelinos with access to quality health care at an affordable cost.
For our families,
our seniors,
our community,
it's a plus.
It's a plus
for all of us.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
For all of us, this generation and the next, there is simply no place in our lives for litter. And yet, it's everywhere we look, and unfortunately, it does belong to all of us. So let's come together and create a litter-free, clean California once and for all. Remember to properly dispose of your trash and recycling. Secure truckloads with tarps to keep debris from flying out. Clean out your car when you're at the gas station. Take pride in your community by organizing a cleanup event or join a cleanup event near you. Zero litter is the goal. Join us at cleanca.com. That's cleanca.com. Let's do it together. Brought to you by Caltrans. cleanca.com.
This is KBLA Talk 1580, where hate loses and love wins.
Police are looking for a man in Culver City who apparently allegedly broke into a home, sexually assaulted a little kid. They are asking for the public's help in locating him. They have a picture, and that happened about 10 days ago, maybe about a couple weeks ago, but now they have a picture out. They're asking for folks to step up if they have information. That happened in the middle of the night, around 2 o'clock in the morning. LAPD also releasing a picture and video of a man who is suspected of stabbing a guy on a metro train near Trade Tech in downtown LA. This guy, Jalil Sosayera, was stabbed, made it to the hospital, died there. Made it home, called the paramedics, and died in the hospital. But they have a picture, and they're asking for the public's help in finding this guy. And, I don't like doing a lot of crime reporting because I think it's not always productive. It's not a gap, let me say, in news coverage. That's what we hear all day on a lot of mainstream media. But when stuff like that comes up where we need to be mindful, keep our eyes open, be aware, I will bring it up, especially around the holidays when we can get, if people are drinking or they're in party mode, we can be careless. We can not be paying attention when we need to be paying attention, and just be, not to be, paranoid or freaked out, but to be aware, to be security minded. Let's go to Dwight from the city of Compton. Hi, Dwight. Hi, Dwight. You there?
Yes.
All
Hello,
right.
Dominique.
Good morning.
Good morning to all the KBLA family and Tavis, Miles, everyone here at KBLA. Thank you guys so much for such a wonderful radio station. I just want to wish you happy holidays, you, your family, and loved ones.
Thank you.
Happy holidays to all the KBLA family out there, the hardworking postal workers that some will even be working on Christmas Day. And I just want to wish God's blessings in the coming new year to everyone there. And like you were saying earlier, Dominique, our democracy is just going to be a constant struggle. There is no end to it. We just continue to improve it. It's like we eat every day. We're going to get hungry, so we have to eat again. The nourishment that our body takes in, and then we just get rid of the waste. And it's a constant, everyday, ongoing battle. And like you said, because we are against something doesn't mean say we're against Hamas doesn't mean we're against the Palestinian people. Because we're against Netanyahu's radical government doesn't mean we're anti-Semitic and against the Jewish people. It's just like, even on the cross, Jesus said, "Father, why have you forsaken me?" Jesus wasn't against God. He had a moment where he had a controversy in his thinking. So, like you said, Dominique, we can criticize even members of our own family. Doesn't mean we're against our entire family. We're just against that person. Like you said, Martin Luther King was considered a radical in his time.
Yeah.
And now he may be considered, not progressive enough to some people because of his ideas and thoughts. So, like you said, it's an ongoing battle, and even there's going to be controversy. Look at that. The Proud Boys have a black leader. Now, who would have thought that?
Well,
they're black Republicans.
Afro-Latino, right? Kind of, yep.
Yeah, they're black Republicans, and Republicans are using voter suppression against black people. So there's always those controversies. Like you said, California is considered a liberal state, but we have little pockets of white supremacy.
Big pockets.
In a big state.
Big pockets, Dwight. I mean, yeah.
And then Mississippi might have a liberal city because
Jackson, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah, you got Jackson, Mississippi, in the middle of Mississippi, and I never knew Mississippi was 40% black, Dominique. I would have never thought that because out of, say, if you got 6 voting districts, only Benny Thompson's district is the only one that has somebody black. That shows you how gerrymandering.
Yes, it does.
Affects what they pack all the black people into one voting district. And then you got 5 white districts and 1 black district in a state that's almost half and half black and white. And
you have the state government trying to choke out cities like Jackson and take away their autonomy over their police department and their judicial system and others. Hold that thought, Dwight, continuing our conversation always on KBLA Talk 1580.
Happy Kwanzaa from unapologetically progressive KBLA Talk 1580.
Mom's early Alzheimer's diagnosis was hard to take.
And when I left the oven on, we decided together that it was time to see a doctor and make a plan.
Early detection gave us more time to seek out information and support as a family.
If you or your family are noticing changes, it could be Alzheimer's. Talk about seeing a doctor together. For more information, visit alz.org/time to talk. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
At Susan G. Komen, we believe that ending breast cancer needs all of us working together. Because if you've just been diagnosed and don't know where to turn, we've got you. If you can't afford the treatment you need, we've got you. And if you are driven to honor the loved one you've just lost, we have a place for you here. Because of you, we're supporting those who need help today while tirelessly searching for tomorrow's cures. Visit Komen.org and be a part of our Susan G. Komen community today.
Diane from Michigan, a disabled senior citizen trying to get by. Henry from Florida, a veteran fighting to make ends meet. Elena from Arizona, a mother struggling to feed her daughter. Hi, I'm Connie Britton, and I support Feeding America because they help provide over 6 billion meals to people in need each year, like Diane, Henry, and Elena. Learn more at feedingamerica.org. Feeding America, 200 food banks strong.
Substance use disorder and addiction is so isolating. And so, as a Black woman in recovery, hope must be loud. It grows louder when you ask for help and you're vulnerable. It is the thread that lets you know that no matter what happens, you will be okay.
When we learn the power of hope, recovery is possible. Find out how at startwithhope.com. Brought to you by the National Council for Mental Wellbeing, Shatterproof, and the Ad Council.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
We are, and I'm so glad you're here with us. Charles in the YouTube chat room says it is a tale of two countries, quite frankly, not just a tale of two states. I think that's true. It might even be three countries, right? Because you have the progressive, whatever, liberal, so-called urban populations, and then you have the Republican or conservative white folks who are working class, and then you've got the rich, right, who do pretty much whatever they want. I mean, the very rich, right? The oligarchical class that actually runs the country. Dwight, I wanted to let you land. You were making a lot of good points about how we have to keep working on our democracy. We just can't throw up our hands, and how the gerrymandering affects, Louisiana is an example, Mississippi is an example. You'll be heartened to know that there's a lawsuit right now. Alpha Phi Alpha is suing state of Georgia over their maps, their voting maps. Go ahead and take that land.
Totally, Dominique. I just want to say, our democracy is a constant battle against white supremacy racism. We fought a revolutionary war against England for freedom, but we still had slavery. So it's a constant battle to make things right. And it's going to be a constant battle between, in the Bible it said 1/3 of the angels and Satan tried to overtake heaven. So how are we going to think we're going to have nice and peaceful without any controversy here on earth? But Dominique, in closing, happy holidays to everyone there. Happy holidays to the KBLA family. I'm wishing God's blessings in the coming new year. Thank you, Dominique.
Thank you, Dwight. We appreciate you. You've been one of our down from day one KBLA delegates, and we appreciate you spreading the word, keeping people informed, getting folks onto our app, which is free at the App Store and the Google Play Store. Just type in KBLA, like K Black without the C and the K, KBLA 1580, and boom, it'll pop up. You can download it, get a chance to listen to us on your phone or wherever you are. So looking forward to the conversation with State Senator Lola Smallwood Cuevas. She's been a champion for labor her whole life, and we are in a hot season of strikes, actions, and progress. Can't wait to hear what she has to say and get some updates on what's going on in Sacramento. It's KBLA Talk 1580.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
Good morning. It's Thursday, the 14th day of December. I'm Ree Harris, and here's the latest from the Black Information Network. On average, people commuting daily to work have smaller incomes than remote workers, according to a new study published in the Los Angeles Times. Lower income commuters tend to live an hour or more away from their jobs. Census data showed 750,000 people have commutes that cross a county line, especially coming into Los Angeles, California. The study concluded that people who work from home are disproportionately higher income employees. The median income for remote workers is $80,000, while the typical commuter earns a little less than